Here, this is a brief outline of today's lecture or this lecture: external structure and locomotion, nutrition and the digestive system, circulation in amphibian.
अगर आपने अभी तक हमारा चैनल सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया तो अभी सब्सक्राइब करें और बेल आइकॉन को क्लिक करके हमारी लेटेस्ट वीडियोस के बारे में अपडेट जानें।
जी, ये हमारा प्लानिंग के तहत 6 वीक का लेक्चर है और 6 वीक का जो लेक्चर है इसमें हमारे पास ये आउटलाइन है. At the start we discussed about survey of the amphibian, and this is the third lecture on amphibian. Survey of amphibian, and under this heading we discussed about order Gymnophiona, order Chordata, order Anura or the Silentiae, and from today or now onward we will discuss about evolutionary pressure in relation to external structure and locomotion, nutrition and digestive system, circulation, gaseous exchange and temperature regulation. And we will try to discuss or cover evolutionary pressures in this lecture. And this is the practical portion, study of the few representative animal of the class Amphibia for this week. These are the objective: to describe extent classification of the amphibian, to describe evolutionary pressure of the amphibians, and to study few representative animal of the class Amphibia. Student will be able to classify this animal class, and these are the SLOs. You will also learn about the evolutionary pressure and its important structure of the amphibians which are required to live on land in amphibious condition like dual environment. The animal may be living in the fresh water, or aside by they may be present on the land. They need various type of the adaptation for leading such type of the dual life. What these are the adaptation you will learn over here under the evolutionary pressures. And finally student will learn about a few representative animal of this class, main amphibians. Here, this is a brief outline of today's lecture or this lecture: external structure and locomotion, and nutrition and the digestive system, circulation in amphibian. At the start we will slightly discuss about the evolutionary pressures. Why we need to discuss about the evolutionary pressure? We know that the amphibians are the organism which live between the freshwater and the land, adaptation to both environment, and they have various type of adaptation in their body to live on land and in freshwater. In the water they have various type of the properties which are required to be buoyant in water bodies. Mean they need buoyancy as the other fish need in the water. So they have various type of the structure in their body which help them in the buoyancy. They exchange gases with the water. They respire through their skin. That is very good adaptation, and they face same osmoregulatory problems as freshwater fishes. They also need to adopt their body for osmoregulation as various type of the fish adopt. Next, on land amphibians support themselves against gravity, exchange gas with air, and tend to lose water to the air. When they are living on the land, they usually support their bodies against the gravity, and for that they have a strong limb in their body, and also further exchange various type of the gases with the environment, with the air, by using pulmonary respiration or buccopharyngeal respiration. And in the water bodies they usually perform cutaneous respiration and tend to lose water in the air for gaseous exchange, or for keeping their body moist in the environment or in the air. They need to keep their body moist, so they exchange or lost water from their body surfaces. When you say about these organisms, they have various type of the natural enemies like snake, aquatic birds, turtles, raccoons, and a human, and usually they are defenseless. Some tropical, subtropical forms are aggressive jump at and bite the attackers. These are the adaptation, because we are going to discuss about the external structure today in relation to evolutionary pressures, and so we also need to discuss about various type of the adaptations for defense and skin and other type of body forms. Other play dead. This is the adaptation to be avoided by the predator. So they play dead while or whenever their predator catch them or see them. अदर ब्लो अप लंग्स डिफ़िकल्ट टू स्वेलो, मतलब वो अपने जो फेफड़े हैं उनको फुला लेते हैं इतना ज़्यादा. और अदर ब्लो अप लंग डिफ़िकल्ट टू स्वेलो मीन दे इंक्रीज देयर girth or body area, so they can't be swallowed easily and hence prevented from the predation. Jumping is the best defense. In the especially in the file order Anura, they jump because they have very elongated hind limb. Some species have poison gland, they have poison gland in their body, which is very helpful as a defensive mechanism for the defense of their bodies from the possible predators. Vertebrate skin protect against infective microorganism, ultraviolet light, desiccation and mechanical injuries. These are the benefit of the vertebrate skin because it generally protect the organism from various type of the harmful environmental stimuli or the factor like desiccation, mechanical injuries, ultraviolet light or other infective microorganism. Function in gaseous exchange, like in the amphibian, they possess moist body and they have the body adaptation to get exchange various type of the gases with the environment, and so they perform cutaneous respiration. So skin also function in the gaseous exchange, temperature regulation and absorption and storage of the water. Whenever amphibian need water and they are away from the water body for a long time, they quickly go to the water body and whenever they settle in the water bodies, their skin absorb or store water, so it also function in the absorption and storage of the water. Amphibian skin lack a covering of the scale, feathers of or hairs. We have been discussing this point for 3 lectures, and amphibians generally don't possess scale in their body, and they don't have feather or hairs, even they don't possess claws or nails. Thin and the moist skin is present in the amphibian, and skin is generally kept moist or it is very thin, and it is loosely attached to the body or at certain point, and they also have stratified epidermis, and that is the inner dermis, and further outer layer of the epidermis shed periodically, because epidermis is exchanged for various type of the condition or various type of the metabolic or other biochemical processes. Deposit of the soft keratin, protection against water loss, some abrasion. Here their skin generally deposits soft keratin, which help in the prevention of abrasion, and it also protect against the water loss. Keratin is a type of protein here of human being or other higher chordates. They are also made up of keratin. Dermis, lower epidermis have 2 type of the glands. Mucus gland generally secrete various type of the protective or the waterproofing compounds on the skin, which are collectively called as mucus, which are very slimy, slicky in nature, and they generally keep the body moist while the animal is on the land. They also have other type of the gland which are called as serous gland. Serous gland generally secrete poison. These are the poison gland which generally produce or secrete various type of the poisons which are whitish or watery in nature, and their poison is very dangerous. Poison of the dendrobatid frog, mainly found in South American regions, are most lethal animal secretions now. Till now, these poison of amphibians are considered as most lethal animal secretion. more poisonous than venom of sea snake or any arachnids. Arachnids mean ये spider वगैरह जो होते हैं. So their poison is very dangerous, and it can be comparable with venom of snake or any other poisonous arachnid. Dermis also contains several types of the pigments called chromatophore. Chromatophore are the cells which give characteristic color or which are helpful to change the color or adjust the color of the body, which make them adjust or make them blend in their background or in their environment where they are living, and it is a helpful strategy to be avoided from the potential predators. Water bios and sport aquatic animal. We know that generally water is very helpful in the buoyancy, and it also sport aquatic animal. Skeleton of the fishes protect internal organs. This is the main benefit or the major function of the skeleton system of any organism is generally protect the internal organs, provide attachment to the muscles. Further need both type of the things like skeleton or the bones or the muscles at once, and so provide attachment to the muscles. Skeleton of the fishes generally provide attachment to the muscles and prevent collapsing during movement. Any organism while moving need a very solid body or the solid body support, so its body shouldn't be collapsed due to the external or internal pressures or movement. In terrestrial vertebrates, this is the comparison chart, or this is the, you can say, comparison between the organism living in the water bodies or on the terrestrial and habitat or the land. The skeleton provides support against gravity to propel terrestrial vertebrate across land along with protection. Mean while they are on the land, they need the skeleton for the support, for the propulsion during the movement or during the locomotion, and along with protection, these are the additional characteristic or the function of the skeletal system or the skeleton in amphibian or in any terrestrial organism. Vertebral column, rigid structure, much of flexibility found in fishes. Here when you see about the vertebral column of the amphibian, we have discussed that it possesses various type of important structure like cervical vertebrae, or they also contain a very sportive structure, that is the urostyle. You can easily see in this diagram, this is the urostyle. The urostyle is being formed due to the fusion of various type of the caudal vertebrae. We have discussed about this point in the previous lecture, that the urostyle is being developed due to the fusion of caudal vertebrae, and further they also possess pelvic bone. They have various type of the important structure in their vertebral column which are sportive, and also this type of the adaptation in their skeletal system in the pelvic region for jumping or for supporting elongated limb in their body. Transmit force from the limbs to the body. This is the major function of the vertebral column. It transmits force from the limbs to the body. Body much shorter, only 9 trunk vertebrae and several fused caudal vertebrae. We have discussed about the urostyle. Urostyle is the resultant of the fusion of caudal vertebrae. Sicilian have 285 vertebrae. We have discussed about Sicilian. They have body like snake, so they may have more than 285 or up to 285 vertebrae in their body, because they have snake-like body and they don't possess true limbs in their body. And skull much lighter than in fishes. I mean, the skull of fishes are generally heavier, but the skull of the amphibian are not so heavier as they are in the fishes. Change from improved special senses, feeding, breathing, mean The amphibian living in water bodies as well as on the land, they need more adaptation. They need more adaptation than fishes. So they had to change their skull, or they had to improve their senses in relation to feeding, breathing, and other type of the thing that were the need of that time or now of this time to sustain a life in dual conditions, in dual environment. Here, limb muscle probably derived from the radial muscles that move fish fin up and down. The muscles of the fishes, or which further develop into limb muscles in the amphibians, and they were sportive muscle for the fin, for the movement, for the up and down movement in the fins, and further they develop into limb muscles arranged into antagonistic arrangement, antagonistic group. The antagonistic arrangement is a type of arrangement where muscle arrangement in such a way that they are anti-parallel, and whenever one is going to contract, the other will surely be relaxed, and vice versa, and the action of one oppose another. This is the antagonistic arrangement or antagonistic group. Here, these are various types of the muscles in the amphibians. First are the abductor. Abductor muscles are leading the movement away from the median axis, or are helpful during the movement away from the median axis. Adductors, they are attached toward median axis. Their attachment is very important. Mainly these names are named as, or you can say this classification is based on the attachment of the muscles to the various region of overall limb. Abductor away from the median axis, adductor towards the median axis. Generally they are attached towards the median axis. Flexor, they are helpful in bending, so they are present on the parts of the limb which are helpful in the bending various type of the bones. Next, extensor. Extensor are helpful to give a straightened look to any muscles, or helpful in straightening limb or any muscle. And finally there are the rotator, which help in the rotation of the limb, where there are various type of the joint present, which are the synovial joints, or which may be you can say ball and socket joints, and so they need various type of the muscle attachment for the rotation of the limb or structure, so they are generally termed as rotator. Myotomes muscles modified to provide support to various portions of the body, head and belly. These are the special types of the muscles which are modified to provide support to various portions of the body, especially head and belly region of the amphibians. Supportive processes called zygophysis. We have discussed about the zygophysis. These are the articular processes, or these are the structure which prevent the twisting. These are generally present in the vertebral column, and they are present, or they are the helpful structure which prevent the twisting of the vertebral column, or the, you can say, collapsing of the vertebral column while the organism is moving or during the locomotion. Cervical vertebrae that allow the head to node vertically, mean they are helpful in noding the or in noding movement in the head. Sacral vertebrae, they anchor the pelvic girdle. And sternum support, the sternum is present just of organism. Sternum support the forelimb and protect internal organ reduced or absent in the aneuron, and this is very reduced, or most of the time it is absent in the aneuron, mean frog or toad, and this generally protect, if it is present, generally protect important structure like lungs and heart, because they are present in the chest cavity. Here these are various type of the regions of the vertebral column and the skeleton. Here this is the cervical region, mean this is the neck region, and further this is the trunk region, and here these are the sacral region, and finally they have caudal region. Caudal region is modified into tail in most of the organism, and somewhere in the aneuron it is modified into urostyle because they don't have tail. They don't have tail in their body, and tail is present only in the chordata. Here urostyle is shown in the amphibians. These are the limb of low finfish and amphibians. Here are the low finfish, and these are the limb for the amphibians. The origin of the bone of the vertebrate appendages is not precisely known. However, similarities in the structure of the bone of the amphibians, B structure, and appendages and the bone of the fin of the ancient sarcopterygian fishes, that is the A structure, suggest possible homologies. Mean structures are same, but they have different function. Like limbs usually are helpful to support against the gravity, to move on the land. But when you say about the fins, they are helpful in the locomotion, but they are helpful in a different environment as compared to the limb are helpful in on the land, and fins are helpful in the water bodies or in the water. Joint at the shoulder, hip, elbow, knees, wrist and ankle allow freedom of the movement and better contact with the substrate. Definitely joint are helpful for various type of the movement and sport to sustain a life on the land and also in the water body. The pelvic girdle of the amphibian consists of three bones: ilium, ischium and pubis, that firmly attach pelvic appendages to the vertebral column. These are various type of the bones which are helpful in the attachment of the vertebral column and pelvic girdle or the pelvic appendages, and further to their hind limb. These bones, which are present in all tetrapods but not fishes, are important for sport on lands. These structures, like mentioned in the second paragraph, these bones are not present in the fishes but are present in all the tetrapods or all the terrestrial animals or organisms which are vertebrate in nature. They have these bones, so these are present in the tetrapod. So we can consider them as a very sportive or very important bone to sustain a life on land. Here, sport and movement in the aquatic salamander is shown. Aquatic salamanders usually move by using undulatory waves or wave-like movement along their body, like the heavier fishes usually move in the way. And when you say about the terrestrial salamander, they move by a pattern of the limb and body movement through the body into a curve to advance the stride of a limb. Here strides are shown, and or the axis of the limb are shown in the terrestrial salamander, because when you say about the aquatic salamander, they have fish-like adaptation, and when you say about the terrestrial salamanders, they usually have tetrapod-like adaptation because they purely need to move on the land, so they also need to sustain or to work or to support their body against the gravity.